for the youth. They have representatives at the national deciding committee, because we know one time we shall be in a wheelchair. And someone should push us to in the future replace our wheelchair. I don't wish all of you to be in wheelchairs, but I just want to stress the point that youth, you remain the driving force of the socio-economic. Elsewhere, we don't see youth like this. Ussia, we see the youth as a real important asset in the socio-economic society. But elsewhere we'll find maybe the youth sabayaye, at times you are used as a shield in wrong activities. I told you that because I want very much to remain a youth, I like interacting with the youth. And you talk to a youth, we've trained very many youths in the country using partnership funding and also using government funding. We would not be poor at all. But then someone says, they taught us how to make milk, but they have not given us the machines. Now you ask, before you got the knowledge, did you know the machine you wanted? Hello? Before you started doing something about meat, did you know the machine you needed? So first of all, let us be grateful that you are empowered. Use the knowledge not passively. Like, they wanted me to do beef. I've done it, so what? Then you start blaming. From the time I did beef, I'm just here. Who will buy sausage? Have you looked for people to buy? But I want to tell you that you are in the right place, because Ussia will also teach you how to market. They will also teach you how to be out there, where to look for market and how to start. If you are eating a meal and the starter is bad, will you have the appetite to eat the rest of the meal? No. So Ussia is a nice starter. At times, when someone claps, I get the appetite to receive a clap. Can you clap it? Can you give Ussia a better clap that it deserves? We are entering a new creative industrial age, which is characterized by constant innovation and accelerating change. Successful companies will be those that can adapt quickly and embrace people with suitable skills. Needless to say, innovation is quickly becoming a survival skill for next generation leaders. So innovation, you don't just innovate and it is one thing of you let go. But now we are in the era of innovation. We don't get surprised that from what you have learned, the same what you learned here, you will go back and think of how else you can produce from this. Whatever you have learned now, that will be innovation. And people who have survived in the business, who have survived in the production, they innovate every day. They innovate all the time. And now that you have come into Ussia, I want to suppose so, you are going to see people innovate and you are going to be encouraged to innovate more. For today's youth, innovation means providing ideas out of the blue. You sit and say, what do I do? And you come up with something. I'm in the textile field. There is something I innovated. I'm also a teacher, a primary teacher for that matter. So I was privileged to lead an international school. I was the headmistress of an international school. But members, the community feared bringing their children in the international school because they used to pay in dollars. And it was relatively expensive. I sat and said, what can I do that can attract people to this school so that we have a population? Have you seen nursery children, the whole country graduating? That was my innovation. I sat and thought, I went back, the first uniform was really, it wasn't the beauty, it was not so nice, but it looked like a graduation gown. So I invited some of our colleagues in the neighboring schools. They came to our Christmas day, closing the school, and I conducted this. Very simple. I graduated 12 nursery kids to P1. It was from the blue. No one taught me. It was from the blue. I had never seen it elsewhere. It started. The other year I was in West Nile and I saw children graduating. I clapped. I said, thank you, God. You made me do this. Though they don't know who started it, but they are happy, and me, I feel happy when I see people doing it because it was my innovation. So it is the innovation. It will come from the blue. It will be a reality. If I wanted, I would have branded it. But it is okay. God has branded it for me because I get blessed every day. However, there is more to it than that. Innovation is not necessarily coming out with all new product or service. It can be a minor change in a business process or a service model that add value in terms of efficiency, productivity, and quality. Therefore, innovation is not a one thing. It is a habit, and it should always be part of our approach. We should not start that I started there, then we are like in the Bible, as it was, so it shall be, world without end. Every time we innovate, as you have started, there is when you have talked about packaging, right? Yes? Yes. And you find the people wanting to go to China. There is a gentleman I was talking to, a member of Ussia. He's producing coffee. But his coffee is not yet well packed. But he did not want to accept that he needs better packaging of his coffee. But he wanted to show me that he knows he's of high class. But I told you that I want to remain a youth. I still said, I want to know what is the plan for your packaging of this coffee. You know how sensitive coffee is. You need to pack it really well, airtight and nicely looking and talking nice. Someone branded his very nice portion and put there a rat. And each time he came, he found his portion on the shelf. Each time he came, he found his portion. And yet it is very nice portion. So someone said, they asked him, why is my portion here? He said, because you put there a rat And every time they pick, they think it is partial for the rat. Then he started explaining, no, I just said it is so sweet that even the rats enjoy it. But it was too late, people had already thought. So this gentleman says he wants to get a European market for his coffee now, but he's waiting to go to China to bring packaging from China, and then he will sell in the US. Chikola. So we have to be very innovative in the packaging of what you've done. Maybe we can work. Yuri, they have now the paper making. I think you saw the paper project. Instead of waiting to go to China, can we innovatively use Yuri, the knowledge that Yuri gives, that we can produce our own paper from banana fiber, instead of using the banana fiber as raw as it is. So innovation should be a habit, and it should continue. We should continue improving our businesses. So I urge all of you participants that after here, please fill the forms and become members of Uganda Small Scale Industries. Some of you, the MC said that some of you have never heard about Ussia. I want to tell you that Ussia, we don't talk too much. Scientists, they don't talk a lot. Industrialists, they don't talk a lot. But they do a lot. So get into Ussia, do a lot. They are going to see you by what you do, not by what you say. Don't just talk, I learned, I'm going to make. I learned, I will make. I learned, I will make. Just leave this place and start doing like the spirit of Uganda Small Scale Industries. So I want to say, all of you, you are really welcome to this event today. And I pray that you get blessed. And all the participants, please go get rich. I bless you.
Maybe before she goes, I will give her the opportunity to invite our guests from the Embassy of Belgium to also give us remarks.
And when he said like that, I remembered that some of you were asking, but who is she? My name is Eunice Wekesa. I'm the National Chairperson, Uganda Small Scale Industries. I'm a youth. No one should call me an old woman here. Yeah, like I had mentioned before, we are very grateful to all our partners, nationally and internationally. Belgium has been so instrumental in the activities of Ussia and the success of many projects that Ussia has. So I want to thank you. We always thank you, and we are so indebted to Belgium. It is Embassy of the Kingdom of Belgium. So I take this opportunity to invite Mr. Cohen Van, Deputy Head of Mission, Head of Development Cooperation. Please come and say a word to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear National Chairperson of the Ugandan Small Scale Industries Association, Mrs. Eunice Wekesa. I'm very honored by your invitation to be here today, and thank you for your introduction. Dear judges, dear award winners, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. Now, some of you may be wondering what exactly is the link between what's happening today and Belgium. Yeah? Because you don't see Belgium very often, and that's fine. And I'd like to explain how we actually work, in this case, through TRIAS. Yeah? TRIAS is one of the Belgian non-government organizations. And the way that we support them in Belgium is also different than in some other countries. We don't see TRIAS as an organization who has to implement what we want to do. No, we see TRIAS as an autonomous actor of the Belgian and international civil society that has its own vision and its own mission and its own initiatives to promote development. And every 5 years, they submit to the Belgian government a proposal of how, within their own mission, within the objectives they have set for themselves, they can contribute to development. Of course, we have common development priorities within which this partnership is taking shape, but it's very important for us that it's an initiative from the NGO. And we think this is something that all societies need. It should not be up to government to always determine everything. We can set out big lines, but if we want a vibrant development process in society, we need the active involvement of all members in society. And one of the best vehicles is through how people in society organize themselves. And we see that they organize themselves in community organizations, in civil society organizations, NGOs such as TRIAS, and there are also many Ugandan NGOs, and also as private sector companies. Yeah? So we very much believe in the need to support these autonomous actors in society. I think that's the only way we can achieve sustainable development. Now, I'm very pleased to be at this event, because the focus of today is really also very strongly corresponding to what Belgium is trying to support through its development cooperation policy. And let me highlight some of these elements we're focusing on today. First one is the focus on youth, and this is specific for Uganda. You probably know we're living in one of the countries with the highest demographic growth globally. Yeah? So every day, every year, a large number of young people enter the job market, enter society, willing to contribute. And this can either be great or it can be a problem. Yeah? It can be great if young people are equipped with the skills and the opportunities to contribute to society, and then society will thrive. We call that a demographic dividend. But if those opportunities are not there, if the support to gain skills are not there, it can become a problem. Yeah? And then people call it a time bomb. And we are here in close partnership with Uganda to make sure we go for the first scenario. Yeah? So we believe in the positive potential of Ugandan youth, and this can be really an asset to development, and that we can achieve this demographic dividend, and this is why we want to partner in this area. Now, the other element of focus is, of course, employment. And by employment, it's not just getting a job, it's also entrepreneurship, creating work. And there, I can be very brief because Madam Chairperson has already mentioned it. This is one of the core objectives of Agenda 2030, yeah? The global agenda for sustainable development that Belgium shares with Uganda, as well as all other member states of the United Nations. Yeah, it's not by accident that work has been put as a top priority, because that can drive this sustainable development. Yeah? So it's great that this is also the focus of today's event. And the third focus I want to highlight is the focus on innovation and entrepreneurship. Because society is changing. The context is changing, whether we want it or not. There's not one country in this world that still is in control. Yeah? You can think about challenges that we are faced with, such as the pandemic. challenges such as climate change, but also opportunities like the digital revolution, digital transformation. All these challenges and opportunities are presenting us today with with a new context, and it's therefore only normal that the best way to navigate in this new context is by focusing on innovation. And who's better than innovation than young people? And it's usually the young people that quickly learn to see what is the context that they live in and that come up with new ideas. And entrepreneurship is one of those skills that we call the 21st century skills. One of the skills that basically all of us need to one extent, to some extent. We need some entrepreneurship skills to make the best of our lives. And I'm very happy to learn that you had this boot camp here, which is really equipping you with some of these 21st century skills. I hope you also take full advantage of digital technology, because there's a lot of scope there to innovate. And we've seen with digital technology that there's also no country that has a monopoly to lead in this innovation. We have seen, for example, the East African region being way ahead of the rest of the world in terms of using mobile money. This is something that still hasn't picked up in other parts of the world. Yeah? Other regions of the world innovate differently with digital tech tools, and that's fine. And it's by exchanging and by further innovating that we can take it to the next level. Yeah? So everybody can take a lead there. I think another great characteristic of young people is that you're very resilient. Yeah? Young people are used to falling and getting up again. And this is, we know, is part of when you talk about small-scale industries, when you talk about startups, entrepreneurship, that is the reality. Many new companies will fail. But it's not a failure if you learn from it. What we see, if young entrepreneurs have gone through a failed startup, they may come with a second startup that is much better and more successful. And so it's not the end, it's always a learning process that's also adding value to society. So let me conclude. I'm very happy to be here today, and we look forward to really learn from all the experiences of the award winners. We come here to be inspired, and I think whatever you have achieved will not only inspire Trias to continue their good work, but it will inspire us, for example, at the Belgian Development Corporation, to see what can we scale up with our bilateral development programs that we implement through Enable, that's our development agency, and how can we work increasingly in wider partnerships with the national authorities, but also at local level. How can we engage with local authorities? How can we engage with local civil society organizations, youth groups, women groups, farmers associations and their cooperatives, academic institutions. Yeah? So whatever good practices you're going to highlight today, I think all of us should try to take them with us and spread them in all the partnerships, in all the other partnerships that we are working with. So very much looking forward to hearing more about it, and thank you all, and best wishes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cohen Van. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation and for those very, very insightful and inspirational remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, the good news is that we also have our guest of honor, Dr. Joshua Mutambi from the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives. It's a pleasure to have you with us today. Thank you so much. Thank you, our dear chairperson, national chairperson, for the remarks. But the way you people are clapping hands, clearly, either it's too cold or there's something missing. Right? I seem like I'm coercing you to do the hand clap. So I think I need to do some motivation. I've been informed that our break tea is ready. Probably it's going to reduce on the coldness, right? So we're going to, after an introduction from our judges, we're going to move right to the left. I'll request my guests right here to stay, and we'll bring the break to you. But the rest of us, kindly pick a cup of tea and an escort, and let's get back to our seats and have a working breakfast stroke break. And hopefully, after that, the hand clap will even be louder. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to give an opportunity to our judges. I think as we feature who they are, I was requested that I give them, so that we can even hear their voices. Just 10 seconds, and tell us who you are as we look at their details right there. We get to know who is actually in charge of these awards this morning. I don't know where it's from, I'm going to start with the chair of the judges to take us away.
Good morning to all of you. I'm Albert, I'm the chair of the panel, and I can't thank you more. Thank you very much. I'll probably have a detail with Paul. For now, I will pass this on starting from my left. We will do a round of that. Just to mention, I am the founder and CEO of Government Reformers. We support DDS, Business Development.
Ladies and gentlemen, of course, that's exactly what is happening here at the Uganda Industrial Research Institute. Of course, the Uganda Small Scale Industries Association are basically rewarding those kind of innovators that have actually been of great benefit. Very innovative, definitely not just in Kampala, but also across the entire country called Uganda. And of course, just like you may hear in the background, the different kind of members, of course, are going to be rewarded for their being innovative, their being, of course, definitely creative. But of course, if you hear, there's a lot ongoing. But why? Well, of course, the reason why we are here is basically to celebrate. And of course, just like you may hear in the background, the judges are going to be taking shape, and of course, taking us what exactly will be definitely making shape of how best can we probably improve. The commissioner in charge of innovation and science, of course, under the Ministry of Science and Innovation, of course, has already arrived in the place, and of course, we know that if government is fully represented, we expect a lot of things to happen, of course, here. And of course, if you have government on board, definitely we expect answers to the many questions that Ugandans have out there. Of course, we understand that we have few innovators in the country. And of course, most times, many of them bury their skills, bury their ideas, bury most of their skills and creativity because they think government has let them down. But of course, the presence of government on such an occasion like this is very, very fundamental. And of course, me, I am encouraged, I am motivated, and I'm inspired that come the end of today, definitely different Ugandans out there will pick a lesson in one or the other. But I want to let you know this is a Trias project. Of course, the Trias project is one of those that Uganda Small Scale Industries Association has invested most of their money to see to it that, of course, Ugandans become better on a daily basis. It has a lot of projects, of course, that they operate through. But of course, this is one of them. And of course, we'll be celebrating those that have stood fundamental, those that have stood active. Of course, not just in Kampala, but across the entire globe here in Uganda. Of course, we are live on Uganda Industrial Research Institute. And of course, you could see a number of people dressed in the manner they are. Of course, that is just a signal. That is just a picture to show you exactly what is happening. Of course, let me hand you over to the MC, of course, Bob Raymond Kabango. Of course, definitely, the MC will be giving us definitely more perspective. What will be happening later on, of course, it is just evident that definitely bannamakolero bagenda kubanga basobola bakatwegatako basabani banyabo kigendera ddala maaso kitongole kya Uganda Small Scale Industries Association agendera ddala maaso okusobola okulaba nga baddiza abo bannamakolero ababadde ab'omugaso ababadde ab'amaanyi ababadde ab'obuvunaanyizibwa okusobola okulaba nga bongera ettoffaali. Gavumenti nayo ekiikiriddwa era tusuubira nti bagenda kuba nga bongera ettoffaali. Of course, let me hand you over, of course, to Bob Raymond Kabango. to be staking, of course. But before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, of course, what is happening evidently, of course, the team will be breaking, but as a business channel, we won't be breaking because we know our business, what keeps us alive, what keeps us motivated, what keeps us inspired on a daily basis is to drive your business from morning up to evening, and that's definitely the motivation and the inspiration definitely we have today here at the Uganda Investment, Uganda, of course. We expect a lot that is happening, of course, across the globe. But of course, before we maybe basically break, what are we saying? Of course, definitely master of ceremony okusobola okulaba nga definitely kwa twogerako definitely n'abakulu abawerako ddala batululire ebintu bitambula bitya babiraba bitya post government weri abakungu okuva ebule n'ebweya nabo webali okusobola okutubulira biki ebigendera ddala amaaso but of course that's exactly what is happening, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be making, as of course the team breaks, be making sense, speaking to a number of people what exactly this event means, but entirely how does the local person benefit from this kind of event. That's and more, of course, is what we'll be discussing with quite a number of people. Of course, we'll be making an in-depth analysis. Most importantly, if we're empowering young people, what are some of those skills that basically young people need if they're going to become better and better people? What kind of sort of innovators do we need in our country? What sort of people do we need in this country to see to it that basically we become better and better people? Of course, that's exactly that is happening. You could see we'll be basically speaking to quite a number of them and to make sense of what exactly is happening here. And of course, I'll be speaking to quite a number of them. I'll be speaking to one of the people that have funded this project for some good time. And of course, to give us how the feel is, why they've decided to invest lots and lots of money in this kind of project, and basically that and more. Maybe let me speak to one of the judges. Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Yeah, I would like to speak to you. You're live on Smart 24 TV. You're one of the judges. One would want to know what is the reason of you being here?
Now you see,
one would want to know, first of all, what's your name?
My name is Deus Mubanjizi from Uganda National Bureau of Standards. I want to first say that no country has ever developed without SMEs. SMEs are the biggest support of economies. Okay. Now here we are looking at innovation in SMEs in Uganda, and it is spearheaded by Uganda Small Scale Industry Association, Ussia. Okay. So in order to inspire others, they have decided to come and identify the best innovations within the small scale industry this year. And since they have looked at various aspects, including innovations, the newness of products, the quality of the products, the employment, they want to see which innovation comes out best. Okay. It will be able to inspire others. Okay. So they have chosen a number of people from institutions to come and be the judges. But the main aim is just to shine a torch on innovation in industry, especially small-scale industries. And if that is done, we should be able to have employment for our youth, should be able to produce products for consumption, and pay taxes to government and develop the country. Okay. Yeah.
Then one would then want to understand that the role of UNBSA is, where is the role of UNBS in this in particular?
Now, Uganda National Bureau of Standards is a body responsible for standards, development and implementation, and the quality and the safety of products. And the Uganda Small Scale Industry Association actually produce products, even services. Now, UNBS is responsible for, first of all, promoting quality and standards within those people, and also ensuring that they are adhered to. So in this case today, I'm not coming in as a UNBS doing its role, no. We are just participating in the exercise, publicize it, and show innovation in the country. So I'm coming in from UNBS, but what I'm doing as a judge is not about UNBS. It's about choosing the best person in the innovation sector. But after that, we shall now get a better platform to bring initiatives of quality and standards in SMEs.
Talk to us about the impact of this even to other associations. What does this mean even to other associations? Are there lessons that other people must be able to pick from what is happening?
I think there should be lessons because the awards in themselves may be a simple exercise, but the torch they shine in the sector to the public about innovation and how they can make you come up is what we are looking at. Because after this exercise, if you publicize it properly, we shall be having youth in different districts, women and other and men, all copying and wanting to come up with a product. And when you come up with a product, innovate and manufacture, then other institutions like UNBS come and help you to meet the quality requirements and to make sure the market is happy with it. And you end up developing. People outside as SMEs have ended up becoming global players. And that's what we are looking at.
This event comes at a time when we are coming towards the end of the year, but also most important towards the end of the festive season. Maybe what's your take and what's your comment on that?
Really, to me, the timing is good because we are hoping in January our economy will be fully open, and if we are to open it, we are going into such areas. And this is the right time for us to prepare, and as you prepare, you inspire. So when you inspire people to come and do small-scale manufacturing and come up, I'm sure when they open the economy in January, we'll be on the right track.
Thank you so much, sir, for speaking to us. And may God bless you and, of course, those joining us. We are coming to you live here at the Uganda Industrial Research Institute. But, of course, we are making sense of one of the projects that Ussia has invested most of their money. Of course, that is none other than the Trias project. It's one of those projects that, of course, the Belgians have chosen to invest all their money, all their resources to see it that, of course, Ugandans become better. And, of course, those of you that are there, you've started your business, you don't know where and what to do. Of course, the best place to be in, that is none other than the Small Scale Industries Association, because, of course, their role is basically to help you formulate. Of course, if you have issues with URA, their role is basically to walk you through the journey. You want to file returns, of course. You have issues basically with paying taxes. Of course, those will basically help you to formulate and become basically better and better people. And, of course, as a business channel, that is our interest. That is our niche. That is what we dedicate ourselves. I have usually said if you want to go to bed with satisfaction, you have got to wake up with determination. Of course, determination to do what? Determination to definitely do a number of things. Of course, we'll be speaking to some of the people that have taken part, of course, in this kind of project. And maybe I would have the privilege to speak to one of the Belgians whom I think are very fundamental, and they've played a very key and fundamental role. They've invested a lot of their money. They've invested a lot of definitely their resources to see to it that this becomes a better project. Ugandans, of course, they've had to celebrate because they've been a great impact. They've been there's a niche that, of course, they've done. I'll be speaking again to Mr. Kasirye, definitely to help us weigh in some of the things that have basically made sense. Mr. Kasirye, yes, the occasion is in the middle. We want to know, help us understand, to what extent has the Trias project been an impact, especially on the small-scale industries in Uganda? Yeah. I'll hold for you.
Okay. Basically, we are working on 3 areas: the knowledge, the attitude, and the skills. We have made several interventions so that the entrepreneur is well built with an entrepreneurship mind in designing his innovation, not to come up with an innovation that is wonderful, but which is bankable, which can generate money, which can attract many funders, which can attract a loan from the bank, for example. These are youths. These innovations, we are preparing them to be future entrepreneurs for this country. So, developing industries is our responsibility. And in the academia line, there are no serious interventions made to prepare the learner into an entrepreneur. So here we are addressing entrepreneurship skills adequately so that members out there and the starter entrepreneurs can progressively implement what he has done, what he has learned into a realistic business. Basically, that's what we are doing.
You spoke about attitude. How is this important in business? Attitude.
Yes.
Yes. How is this important?
The attitude is quite very, very important because it is a push. It gives somebody the impetus to move on constantly, looking for progression, looking for new ideas to spice into the business so that it can skyrocket slowly by slowly. Yes.
You see, when you speak about the SMEs, I see a lot of passion definitely on your face. But let's now digest further the discussion. What are some of the challenges that the SMEs are facing in such a time like this? Of course, the country has just reopened gradually. Yes. But let's now broaden and talk about the challenges the SMEs are facing.
Now, the challenges they are facing, first of all, is in 3, 4, 5 folds. The first fold is looking at the standards. So we are collaborating with the Uganda National Bureau of Standards to help out with these address standards because whatever you are producing in any smaller unit, you are producing for the global market. So standard first. 2, there is the element of technology advancement, flexible manufacturing, which is also really very, very important. And that should be addressed, and we are addressing it in our various trainings. But then, another important thing is the cash element, cash flow, how money comes into the business and how it goes out. The main essence would be different actors to come to us and see how we can really help out these progressive starter entrepreneurs develop so that they can increase the number of people they are employing in their enterprises, and of course having items to sell out so that foreign currency can trickle into the country. That's also very, very important. Yeah.
There's another big challenge, I think. I don't know whether you've left it deliberate. The issue of bookkeeping. I know you see most people say, I just make my money. I don't need to write anywhere.
Truly it is. You know, you must know where you have come from and where you are and where you are heading to. And you can only do this when you have business records. So you are able to come in, you have books. Somebody who wants to, maybe a banker wants to give you a loan, they will depend on how you have been moving, how you have been marketing, you know, your business projection. All those ones are determined by the books you are keeping in your small enterprise. And in our training, we really emphatically emphasize this because it is the pillar, it is the kingpin of the development of your enterprise.
How do you measure that how do you measure the success of a project now that the project has been existed since 2017? How do I tell that the project has been successful or anyway, has it yielded results or not? So how that are based on to say that this project has indeed yielded results?
What you base on, first of all, how is the adoption rate? How many enterprises have we established as a result of this innovation award intervention throughout the country? Altogether, how many innovations have come to the platform for people to nibble, you know, to copy from, to emulate from? And I must tell you proudly that with our interventions, especially even during this COVID, people are picking from these innovations and they are making bankable businesses. And this is pretty nice. On the other side, in the academic line, we are really banking on knowledge, yeah? People move with knowledge and very proudly. But the attitude is, I've got this degree, I've got this master's to look for a job. Here we are looking at skills, yeah? And skills work miracles. For example, they are making different types of shoes. And this doesn't need somebody to speak a lot of English, though currently I'm speaking English. So the issue is addressing the needs of the youth. And we are also looking at women entrepreneurs. You know, there are so many entrepreneurs who are women, but then basing on the development trend, they have not gone to school so much. They are starting their enterprise. They don't have collateral to get loans from the bank. So this intervention is addressing all these issues to see that these enterprises can thrive, can progress. And indeed, seeing what is happening here and outside, because the competition was really very stiff in the 15 districts. It is really successful. This one I speak with proud.
Mr. Kasida, we'll continue that discussion. You've talked about issues of finances, which we can digest after. Let me continue speaking to other people. Thank you for joining me, Mr. Kasida, one of basically, definitely the board members. And of course, those of you that have just joined us, we are streaming live on our social media platform, that is Facebook and Twitter. Of course, when it comes to YouTube, of course, you'll join us when it comes to that daily program. And of course, we'll be still making more sense. I need to speak to one of the elders. You see, if you want to be successful in life, you need to look for people that have played a very key fundamental. Uganda Small Scale Industries Association exists because of one of the strongest pillars that we must be able to speak to, and of course that is none other than Mrs. Wekesa. Of course, we'll be speaking to her in just a blink of an eye and make sense of exactly what is happening here in the heart of Kampala. Of course, we are speaking the language of Nakawa West constituency at the Uganda Research Institute. That is where we'll be making sense. I'll be speaking to Madam. Madam, I would like to speak to you, if you don't mind. And of course, you're live on Smart 24 TV. One would want to know, you are the pioneers of Uganda Small Scale Industries Association. Where did you develop this brilliant idea that has encouraged and motivated and inspired the lives of so many people?
The pioneers as Ussia organization, not as me as a person.
I'm speaking to you as a board member. You are an old grown.
Yes. Now, the people who started our colleagues who really got up to say we must have Ussia, Uganda Small Scale Industries Association. It was like when they were starting to do this, they called them Juakali. They were on the sunshine, they were in the people's they were in the verandas, people's verandas. Today, tomorrow they throw away their things. They said the government could not report anywhere because no one recognized them. So they came together, they thought they should come together, and those people, one of them was Murwana.
The late James Murwana.
That's why I tell you that Ussia leads and others follow. Uma came from Ussia. So, late Murwana and the other gentleman, there's a gentleman who has just passed on also, may their soul rest in peace. He was called Waswa, Joseph Waswa Banga. They thought they can collect each other, they come together and have a voice, be recognized, and other things come in. But the first idea was for advocacy.
Do you think the idea board member has really been achieved?
Yes, it has been achieved, but I should say a lot is more to come, because every time we move, we see more need. For example, the trainings. There is no organization that has trainers than Uganda Small Scale Industries. Because these people, first of all, they are in practice. They train and give a testimony. They encourage and inspire the people who have done what? Who are there. Because they train practical. But like we go to train and we draw pictures and we give dots in theory. But in Ussia, when we get out the trainers from Ussia, they train theory and practice and experience of challenges and successes. So every time we see the need, even when people train in other organizations where they say they have trained where with certificate and degrees, they come back to Ussia for real hands-on. And real hands-on from one first step. Not this one, like I have so billions, I can start from there. So there is really, it has been achieved because now many people have realized that with Ussia, if you want to go so many steps up, you have to work with Uganda Small Scale Industries members. People have come to realize, governments have realized, organizations have realized. That's why we are in partnership with many government government ministries. That's why we have a number of we sit on a number of boards, because they have realized that with the small scale industries, if you want to go far, go with the small scale industries.
So if I don't choose to become a member, what exactly will I miss out as a business person?
As a business person, you will miss a lot. Like I told you that we have partnered with a number of government institutions. You will go alone to UNBS and it will take you hell of time. You will go alone to the bank and it will get you a number of complications for you to achieve. You will go alone in your registration bureau. It will take you a long time. You will go alone to the Ministry of Trade. It will take you a while. But when you go and you say, here is Ussia, things are simpler. And what you'll also miss is for you to be exposed, your business to grow. Ussia makes your business grow. Ussia exposes you. Ussia shows you the light of the business. So if you are not a member of Ussia, you will grow slowly.
Madam, I must let you break your fast, but what would be your parting shots for now?
Excuse me?
What would be your parting shots for now before I let you break the fast?
Let me get the question.
What is your concluding remarks before I let you break the fast, which is actually on the table?
Concluding remarks. One is I implore all the people, those who have ventured in business, those even who have just an idea of a business, to join Ussia. We will make your dream, we will make your idea a reality, and you will get into business as an industries. We talk about big industries. They started with the small. Before letting Murwana pass on, I interacted with him. The way he started was so small, and he's one of the pioneers of who started Uganda's small scale industry. But now he has empires. Now, I also want to employ Uganda institutions, government institutions, to work with the Uganda Small Scale Industries Association, because they are a reality. They don't imagine things. They don't start from up. And we know if you don't climb this tree from down, and you just jump on the one, when you fall, you break. But when you start from down, even if you fall, you will not break.
Madam, you've made my day by saying if you don't climb the tree from down, you will have issues and problems. Thank you so much for allowing to speak to us. And of course, that is Mrs. Wekesa, the board chairperson of Uganda Small Scale Industries Association. Of course, has been giving us quite a number of recaps on how things are making sense. But of course, exactly, we are saying that is exactly what is happening. And of course, basebo ne banyaba bakatwegatako ndi muzukulu wa Lusimbi ze Fred Makubuya. Of course, ebigenda ddala maaso mu ggwanga biwererako ddala. Naye tulikuwa neno ku Uganda Industrial Research Institute era ng'ekiteeberezeza wano okusobola okulaba nga nate bannamakolero abawangalira mu bitundu ebyenjawulo definitely bakola. Tugenda kuba tuwumulamu katono. Bwe tukomawo, of course, tugenda kuba twongera obbalaga bannamakolero bakoze biki bye balina, biki bye bakoze, biki balina okuba nga batambuza. N'okusingira ddala gavumenti weeri kamisona waali ddala agenda kuba tubulira mponga gavumenti nteekateeka ki ze balina, biki bye balina eri bannamakolero abatonotono. Just bakatuwa ssente eziwererako ddala billion 10. Minister of Finance yakaziisa n'aga ziri mu Bank of Uganda, naye mukwatagane ne banks musooka wanfuna ssente ezo. Ezo zimu ku nazo tugenda okuba nga tumulungula. Of course, after this, I want to hand over to studio, but of course we'll be right back and show you what exactly will be happening, of course, after this. And I hand over to you back in studio.
Uganda Industrial Research Institute era ndowooza obadde ogoberera ddala ebiki ebigendera ddala mu maaso mu ggwanga naddala mu kitongole ekyo ekya Ussia ekya Uganda Industrial Small Scale Industries era nga kino kiyambako bannamakolero abalina amakolero amatonotono okubeera ate nga basobola okuyitimuka ate n'okubeerawo ekyenjawulo kye bakola. So olunaku olwaleero tutunuulira engeri abavubuka gye bavuddeyo ne different innovations era innovations ezo bagenda kubeera nga ate baba awaardinga oba babawa engule ezibalaga nti nno ate bayiseemu ku ekyo kye babadde bakola. Era mu kutunula gye tutandikidde omukyala Wekesa Eunice abaddeko ebigambo ebirungi ate byayogeddeko n'eri bannamawulire oba byayogeddeko mu lukuŋŋaana olwo, ng'era ekisoose ayogedde about Ussia nti Ussia ezze eyamba bannamakolero abatonotono nga kwogasse n'okubeera nno ng'ate bannamakolero abo abatonotono bavaayo ne batutumuka, naye ng'ate ku mulundi guno okuyita mu Trials Project batunuulidde nnyo abavubuka okubeera nga bava ku mutendera gwe babaddeko beeyongerere ddala mu maaso okubeera nga bakola innovations ezo nga basobola okutandika okuproducinga ebintu nga bakikoledde ewaka. Era ayongedde n'ayogera ku kintu ekirala kyayogeddeko nti stick to your business and nurture it. Kino kitegeeza nti business yonna yonna gy'oba otandise beera nga ogikwata era oginaturinge nga bw'onaturinga omwana nti omulabirira n'omukuza n'abeera nga akula. Ayogedde n'agamba nti business ezisinga teziraba their first birthday. Kino kitegeeza nti business zaffe ezisinga tugenda okwesanga nti oyagala byamangu oba oyagala ssente zijje mangu n'otogiwabudde n'otogirabirira n'otogiyiyiza, so ogenda okwesanga nno munange ate nga business eyo ekufuddeko. So ekyo kyagambye nti business yo gistikingeko, lwaleero totunda kabalagala ate enkeera n'otunda muwogo, kwegamba stikinga ku business yo oginaturinge ogiyiyize osobole okuba nga ekula. Ekyokubiri kyayogeddeko nti innovation is a call of industrialization. Kino kitegeeza nti wanobeera olina okufindinga solutions to the problems. Ebiseera ebisinga tukola businesses kubanga tulabye problems within the society ezibeerawo, ne kati business ezo kwe tutandikira. So bwe tutandika tuba tutandise business zaffe, naye oba olina okubeera innovative nti business gy'otandise ye egenda kubeera etya, ate olina giyiyiza ki, olina okubeera innovative ennyo. Era kyavudde agamba nti innovation is the call for industrialization. Buli kaseera lw'onoobeera innovative ennyo n'oyiya kino n'oyiya kiri, ojja genda okwesanga nti ate amakolero nga gavudde nga kwegamba gayitimuse gavuddeyo era ne gafuuka ag'omuyiika mu ggwanga, ate naawe n'osobola okubeera ng'okulaakulana naye ate n'eggwanga lyaffe okubeera nga lyeyongera mu maaso. Era ayongedde n'akaatiriza ku nsonga y'okubeera nga nno waliwo okukolera awamu, kubanga agambye working together you can find sustainable solutions to the society. Era kwegamba kitegeeza nti tulina okukolera awamu nga bannayuganda kyebava bavaayo ng'aba Ussia okulaba nti bafuna aba small scale industries bonna abali mu small scale ne bakwataganira wamu ne babeera ne same goals and objectives ne bavaayo ne basobola okubeera nno nga bakolera wamu era byonna nga bigendera ddala bulungi mu maaso. Kwegamba ayongedde ekigambo kyasembezayo n'agamba nti we see you by what you do and not by what you say. Kino kitegeeza nti buli akulaba olw'ekyo kyokola si kyogamba. Era kino akikkaatiriza n'agamba nti kwegamba tetwetaaga kubeerawo buli kaseera nga ogamba njagala nkole kino njagala nkole kiri, kwegamba nga kiri mu birowoozo byo, naye olina okuvaayo n'otandika ekyo kyennyini kyoyogedde ate nno n'obeera ng'okikola. Byebyo nno obubaka obuvudde w'omukyala Eunice Wekesa, chairperson mu Uganda Industrial Small Scale Industries. Era tugenda kuba tweyongerayo ddala mu maaso ne bannaffe abali ku Uganda Industrial Research Center bajja kuba batutwalira ddala mu maaso, naye mu kaseera kano njagala ate tuwumulemu katono olwo nno munange tusobole okukuzaayo.